Hey everybody, Jake Nicolle here. Welcome to another Market Stats. I'm incredibly excited to jump in. We got so much to talk about, so let's jump right in today's video. We're looking at the average sale price. Again, this is all the way across Mississauga, all the way down through the southern GTA, everywhere into Fort Erie, going Cambridge direction, going down even towards London. There's tons of data here. Now, the number one thing we're looking at is we can see that month over month from June to July, we have a small drop here. So it's not a very significant drop. We're looking at an average sales price right now of about $787, whereas in June, the average sale price was $821. And this is across all categories, every size property, single family, townhouse, condo, detached, semi-detached, everything. We're covering all of it. And this is good for us to look at because it shows us the large scale market trends because there's so much volume of transactions happening. If we go too niche with this data, then we end up kind of messing up our numbers because just a couple sales can kind of throw things out of perspective. So just wide-ranging perspective, the market dropped, what is this, 787, and then we're gonna divide that by 821. We can see in general, the market's down 4-ish%, okay? Here's my thoughts on this. This is a little bit of seasonality. If I'm to go back to, July of last year, you can see July and August dipped a little bit in sales price as well back in 2021. Last year was a huge anomaly, so we're not gonna look too closely at last year because as the interest rate announcements were coming, everything just kind of came to a halt. But if I look here in 2019, you can see July, August, market cools off a little bit, it rebounds a bit September, October, and then it dies off again headed into December. This year, a pretty good trend for us to look at. Here you can see as well, market was actually down 2018, it bounced back a little bit. With the trends that we just looked at, we just saw a little up, little down, depending on the year, depending on what's going on. My prediction, because that's all this is, my prediction for this year is that as we kind of settle into interest rates, because in September, I've got the policy interest rate information from the Bank of Canada here that we're looking at in front of us, we can see that we had that announcement July 12th where we actually raised interest rates another 25 basis points. Okay, so we're at that 5% target. And we've got an announcement coming up September 26th. So if we don't have any further raise of rates and we just kind of sit flat for a little while, which I think we actually need. I know some of you might not want to hear that. You might want to hear that maybe interest rates are gonna start to come down. And the truth is, if they come down too soon, too fast, or we even just stall interest rates, we're gonna see the market pick back up steam because we have such a supply and demand problem here in the GTA that we're gonna continue to see buyers purchase homes. There's so many buyers that need to get into homes. There's a lot of people that don't want to sell their houses right now. So it's going to continue to create these supply demand issues that are just a perpetual problem until we build more homes in the GTA. If you don't know these numbers, we have an incredible amount of people immigrating into Ontario every single year. And the rate at which we're building houses is nowhere near where it needs to be. Just to keep it super simple, like we are not building enough houses for the number of people we have. And that problem gets compounded by the fact that builders now have to deal with higher interest rates and they've been used to these super slim, low interest rates that allow them to have tons of margin and borrow money for free. So now that money's more expensive again, we need to kind of get settled in to this interest rate that we're at. So I know some of you might be expecting us to lower interest rates right away. That's gonna create an inflation problem because the second they lower interest rates, it's gonna create some pandemonium. And if we just remain flat, I still think the market's gonna be pretty strong because of our supply and demand problems, okay? So there's my prediction. No one's got the crystal ball. If I did, I wouldn't be here shooting a video. I'd be out making $1 billion somewhere in the stock market. So we're all guessing and we don't really know what things are gonna happen. So here's a great example, right? We started raising rates all the way from March of last year. We see rates starting to go up, right? And then what happens is March of this year, 2023, they paused interest rates. Why did they do that? Well, they knew they were gonna keep raising rates, but they had to slow down for a second because we had all these bank failures happening in the US where we saw these major banks suddenly being like, we are way over leveraged and we're going out of business, and it scared everybody. So they pumped the brakes on the rate changes. Today's market update, we're going a little bit deeper on rates and everything, but I think it's really relevant to tell the whole story, to paint the whole picture. Now let's jump back in and let's look at our new listings data. And this data is like the most predictable annually, every single year. It's a cycle, it's part of the market cycle. So we can see if we look back 2018 here, we can see after May, the market starts cooling down in terms of people listing their houses on the market, okay? The year of 2019, May is the peak again. We see it cooling down June, July. This year, 2020, we're gonna skip it because it's COVID and we saw all kinds of chaos where we saw the market rebound massively in June, but then again, July, still, the market started coming down a little bit. In 2021, we can see the market after March started slowing down, and then we can see last year we got back a little bit to our regular programming of May being the height of new listings, June, July, it's dropping off. This year, same thing, May and June, we're actually kind of flat, and then July, we're seeing those listings drop off, actually pretty dramatically. And I think the reason is we still have a lot of sellers who are waiting for those really high prices to sell. And I put that in air quotes because the prices are still high to this day, but they're waiting for those like pandemic level prices, which I don't think we're gonna see for a while because of the interest rate stuff that we just covered. We're not gonna see rates that low, hopefully for a long time. And I say hopefully because it'll create the inflation problem again. But we can see sellers maybe losing a bit of optimism as things weren't selling as fast. And then as we look at homes for sale, we can see a little bit more inventory rising. Again, there's nothing new. This happens every single year. And what this means is the number of homes that are building up for sale, it starts to inflate in the summer because people are going on vacation, they're not buying as fast, those homes start adding up on the market, more people list their homes, and even if a few people are listing their homes, because the inventory is not turning over, we see more homes. And again, this is like clockwork, right? Every single summer, you can see here in 2019, June, July, over here in 2018, May, June, July, okay? So it's the same thing every year. And then we can see even post-COVID, it's very similar. So we look at sales, we can see sales are a little bit down. We're gonna see all these same trends of everything's kind of cooling off a little bit over the summer. We'll see things pick back up a little bit. It's now August 4th. We're gonna see in the month of September, we're gonna see things pick back up a little bit again. October, they're gonna pick up. November, December, things are gonna die off. The market gets really quiet for those 2 months. And then January, if you're thinking about selling and you want to time it for this year, you should be really having those conversations around January, February. To be on the market even by the end of February is a really strong time in the market. March, April, May, all really strong months, okay? So we can see days on market building up a little bit, and we can see the month supply is also accumulating, which again, happens every summer. Really cool for you to just get this. If this is your first market stats video, cool for you to see some of those annual cyclical trends of how the market truly looks like a little roller coaster where every year we see in the summer months, things peter off a little bit, they calm down. There's a little bit of a spike in the fall, September, October, and then the remainder of the year, everything gets quieter. Sales prices kind of come down a little bit. Sometimes they come down a little bit. All depends on what happens with interest rates. There's all of these variables, guys, and my job is to give you my take on what I think is gonna happen. I think that we're gonna see interest rates remain relatively flat. If they do raise them, we will see those prices come down a little bit as buyers don't have the pre-approvals they had before. Right now, if you're thinking about selling, the reason it's still a good time to be a seller, there are people who have pre-approvals of lower interest rates that are gonna expire. And when they expire, then they have to refresh their interest rates at a higher interest rate. So right now, there's still buyers out there that need to buy. And if they come across your home and they gotta hurry up and buy something to make sure they lock in that interest rate before it expires, you might be one of the lucky sellers who can lock in those people. We will see things quiet down a little bit. You can get ready for September. Right now is a really good time to be calling up your real estate agent saying, hey, thinking about selling, what's the best game plan for the fall, and have those conversations. Now, if you're a buyer in this market, here's what I would do. I would be very much reaching out to my real estate agent, looking around for deals right now. There's amazing opportunities everywhere. Yes, we're seeing there's a little bit less inventory on the market, but there are also sellers who maybe they've already bought something and it's conditional on them selling their house, and they're motivated because they want to get into the new place that they bought. Maybe there's sellers who have to sell because these interest rate changes are killing them. Amazing opportunities. I'm seeing people on both sides right now do incredibly well with our clients, and it all comes down to strategy, having a game plan, knowing what your budget is, knowing what you're looking for, not settling, but knowing that there's deals out there right now. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us in today's video. If you enjoyed this video, check out our real estate market education playlist. You're gonna love this. It's an amazing way for you to learn about what's going on in the market. What should you do when it comes to finding the right time to buy and sell, seller's guides, buyer's guides. We got everything. Click on the playlist, check it out. You're gonna love it. And thanks so much for trusting us with some of your real estate education. One of the best investments you can make is definitely in real estate. I'm biased, but it's made me a ton of money, and it's definitely got the opportunity to do the same for you as you invest wisely and strategically. So, all right, guys, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Jake Nicolle signing out. Cheers.